Hey everyone, welcome to the ranch. My name is Mark. Today we are going to smoke a meatloaf. And if you've never tried this, I suggest you give it a shot. In fact, you might want to just use your existing meatloaf recipe that you would normally cook in your oven and try it on your smoker instead. And you're gonna probably find that it's gonna have a different type of flavor than you would if you had cooked it in the oven. It'll have a nice smokiness to it. And we're gonna add a few other ingredients to it as well, which will give it a little bit of a barbecue kick to it. So in fact today I'm going to use our meatloaf recipe that we normally cook, and I'm going to add a few things to it. One, normally we use just ground beef, but today I have a mixture of beef, pork, and veal. I'm also going to stuff the middle of it with some mozzarella cheese to give it a little bit of extra ooey, gooey goodness inside. I will also add some of my favorite BBQ Rub to the outside. I'll just sprinkle that on. And lastly, a little bit later on in the cook, I'll add some barbecue sauce to it, just a coating of it to give it some additional flavor. So let's get inside, we'll mix the ingredients, and we'll come back out here and put it on the smoker. I'll be using my Weber kettle today. We'll cook this indirect. I have my slow and sear inside of there. I have about half a chimney of unlit charcoal in there. I'm actually reusing some from a previous cook. And I have a half a chimney here, getting nice and hot. Once we get this fired up good, I'm gonna drop probably a small chunk of cherry wood on there as well to give it some additional wood flavor to the meat. As you just saw inside, we mixed up all the ingredients. Kind of built a little bit of a channel inside the meat so we could fill it up with mozzarella cheese. Probably put a little bit more than I should. Hopefully it all stays inside, but we'll see how that works out for us. You can see I add a little bit of rub to the outside too. Not too much, just enough to give it a little bit of extra flavor. As you can see here, I put the meatloaf on a cooling rack that has a grill mesh mat on it. That way it will give it some support and all of the fat and grease can drip through. I'll put a drip and griddle pan down on the bottom of my kettle just to catch all that fat. I got my drip pan in there, the coals are all set. I've got the vents wide open on the kettle, so we're just gonna let this warm up probably somewhere around, we want it to get to about 325 to 350. So once we get up to about that range, I'll throw the meatloaf on. All right, we've got the meatloaf on the smoker now. I put a probe in to keep an eye on the temperature. I'm hoping I'm not in the cheese, that's why I put it off to the side a little bit. So I'll have to check it a little bit later with an instant read thermometer just to make sure that we're getting it to the right temperature. The coals are nice and hot. I'm going to just throw in this small piece here of cherry wood. Don't want to add too much smoke to it, but I always feel like less is more. And if on the next cook I felt like I needed more smoke flavor, I can add a bigger piece or more wood to it. So we're gonna close this up now and let it sit here for a little while. And we'll check on it about halfway through. It's about 110 degrees right now. It looks really good. There's some nice color already to it. So once we get this to about 140, we'll put some barbecue sauce on it and let that caramelize a bit. The meat's at about 140 degrees now, so I'm just gonna add some barbecue sauce to it. So we'll leave that until it gets up to about 155 degrees, and then we'll take it off. So I wanted to pull this off somewhere between 155 and 160 degrees, and I'm just over 155 right now. I'm gonna check it with my instant read thermometer in a few spots just to make sure it looks good. This meatloaf smells fantastic. I can't wait to eat it. All right, so I've been checking the temperature, and depending where I probe it, it's anywhere from 155 to 160. I'm trying to be careful to stay away from where the cheese is. So this is ready to come off. I'm so ready to eat this. I was very happy with how this meatloaf came out. It was cooked perfectly off camera. I cut into it. You could see the nice smoke ring around it. The cheese stayed inside. It didn't all melt out, which was something that I was afraid of. Tasted really good. Next time I would probably add a little bit more cherry wood to it, just to get a little bit more of a smoke flavor to it. But the way it came out was fantastic. You had the mix of the meat and the cheese and the rub and the barbecue sauce. It was really tasty. So very happy with the results of that. And again, if you haven't tried meatloaf on a smoker before, you really must give it a try. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, share it with all of your friends, and if you're not already a subscriber to my channel, please click subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time at the ranch.